What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with another video. Join us now as we look at this week's edition of Raw, as well as the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including news on CM Punk's backstage behavior. Do wrestlers believe Punk has changed? Did Punk take a shot at the Young Bucks? A former WWE star sentenced to 17 years imprisonment? Is Triple H bringing back Sasha Banks, and much more? Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out our new site, Wrestlelamia.com. As always, we won't recap the matches, but just look at the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. As always, we start off with the good as number 1, Drew McIntyre, the Scottish Shark. Drew McIntyre has had an epiphany. If he wants to swim with the sharks and become a champion, he needs to become the biggest shark in the WWE, which means no mercy for opponents and taking what he wants. While the WWE needs to temper McIntyre's complaining, its overall handling of his heel turn has been fantastic as he continues to show he's in it for himself. Case in point, Drew brushing off his involvement in War Games match and criticizing the Judgment Day for failing to deliver a win or give him what he wanted, Jey Uso. Number 2, Rhea Ripley's wicked game. Speaking of the Judgment Day, Rhea Ripley's so-called consolation of Damian Priest was an example of Ripley at her most cunning. The Eradicator told Damian Priest not to be sorry for losing the War Games match, even though he made himself the Judgment Day's leader. Fans could imagine the wheel spinning as Ripley continued plotting her wicked games to undermine Priest. Number 3, Daddy's back. Randy Orton's homecoming was epic, as was his response to Rhea Ripley when Mommy warned Orton he'd gotten himself into trouble when he interfered in the Judgment Day business. Orton's comments that all people have been talking about his mommy was a good way to show he's been keeping up on the various happenings in WWE. Even better was when he told her that Daddy's back. At the risk of sounding like Michael Cole, this was vintage Orton, and a reminder that not only is Daddy back, but the Apex Predator is too. Number 4, Seth speaks his mind. Seth Rollins isn't afraid to speak his mind, and the Visionary had lots to say, whether it was letting fans know he wasn't going to waste time discussing CM Punk or getting back into what he does best, defend his World Heavyweight Championship. Rollins continues to elevate the World Heavyweight Championship with his frequent title defenses and his regular appearances on Raw, making the belt and the champion all the more prestigious in the process. Number 5, when in doubt, run a tag team turmoil match. Last night's tag team turmoil match was a fun match that gave Raw's team some valuable TV time, and better yet, gave the Creed brothers an important win. Brutus and Julius Creed have been tearing things up ever since they jumped to the main roster, and the universe seems genuinely excited about this hot act, an act whose push hopefully won't end when they wrestle at Judgment Day. Number 6, another fantastic Cody promo. Last night's show was one where it could be easy to get lost in the hype surrounding Randy Orton and CM Punk's return. However, Cody Rhodes still found a way to get himself over and let the fans know he's headed to the Royal Rumble so he can continue his quest to fulfill his dream. Number 7, Jey seeks out Orton. Jey Uso seeking out Randy Orton was a smart segment that made sense from a storyline perspective, as main event Jey knew he had to answer for knocking Orton out of action for a year and a half. Orton giving Jey a pass made sense too, as the Viper explained he's seen how Jey made amends. However, that doesn't mean that Orton has forgiven the rest of the bloodline, and he swore he'd get payback, which could make for an exciting storyline down the road. Number 8, I'm not here to make friends, I'm here to make money. Last night's Punk promo was everything it needed to be, as Punk checked all the boxes on being glad to be back in WWE, putting the company over and saying nearly everyone is happy to see him. However, the promo wasn't one giant love fest, as Punk made it clear he's not in WWE to make friends, he's there to make money. With Punk claiming to still be the best in the world, it'll be interesting to see who he wrestles and whether he'll work as a babyface, a heel, or a tweener. Now, for those who were disappointed that Punk didn't rip AEW a new one, come on, this is his first promo back. What do you think was going to happen? He rips the shit out of AEW and then wedgies Tony Khan in the middle of the ring? Come on. And Reed vs Ivar Slobberknocker. A Bronson Reed vs Ivar was a colossal conflict fans expected, and a good example of what to do with two big men when there are no active programs, such as title hunts for them to work with. Now, we can't think of a worse way to use these two behemoths than in a program when they can beat each other senseless in and out of the ring, and WWE officials trying to find the right match to contain them long enough to determine a winner. But that was a good. What about the bad? It's number 1, Tegan and Natalya job out after weeks of build-up. Another disappointing WWE Women's Tag Team Championship match, and while we weren't surprised, the WWE's handling of things was a letdown. The WWE built this match up for weeks only to treat it like an afterthought, as part of it was shown in the picture-in-picture. Number 2, why is Nia Jax burying talent? The WWE's booking of Nia Jax continues to baffle, as a 39-year-old superstar squashes one talent after another with no apparent purpose. Last week, Jax defeated Raquel Rodriguez, while this week's victim was Zoe Stark. Now we could understand if Jax was a superstar on the rise, but shouldn't she be putting talent like Rodriguez and Stark over? This week's loss was particularly painful as Zoe was just coming off a loss to Rhea Ripley and should have gotten a win to get back on track. Now there was nothing downright ugly, this was a strong follow-up to Survivor Series, and rather than coasting off the momentum of CM Punk and Randy Orton's return, the WWE booked a solid show that hopefully will bring back more viewers next week. What did you guys think of Raw last night? Let us know in the comments down below. Now let's move on to the news. The first story looks at is WWE meeting with wrestlers to discuss CM Punk's return. As CM Punk is back, and rumor has it his reaction has generated various responses ranging from warm welcomes to hostility. Now it appears that WWE is trying to diffuse any potential problems and let its talent know what to expect. According to a recent report from Fightful Select, we're told that many WWE talent expect to speak with higher-ups and gain some assurances about Punk and how he'll be in the company moving forward. Next up, news on CM Punk's backstage behavior. A report's already coming in on how CM Punk interacted with Raw talent backstage, suggesting he's trying to smooth things over or at least keep things as pleasant as punkly possible. PW Torch's Wade Keller is reporting that Punk's promo where he said that fellow wrestlers were happy to see him was no lie. PW Torch sources say that this is absolutely accurate. Punk, according to multiple accounts, tried to approach everyone and was very nice and humble and in a good mood. One wrestler added, but he knew he kinda had to be. Considering the things Punk said about WWE after he left and the fact that he was fired from the last company for a backstage fight, he had a reputation to deal with. Now, he had a reputation to deal with is the understatement of the century given Punk's run in AEW and his nearly 10-year campaign of bad-mouthing WWE, but many are probably giving him a second chance. After all, doesn't everyone deserve one? Next up, do wrestlers believe Punk has really changed? Although Punk may have made a good first impression after his return, that doesn't mean everyone in WWE thinks the honeymoon will last. Wade Keller reports, when asked if people are skeptical of Punk being so friendly and nice at this point, one wrestler said yes, and estimated about half of the wrestlers are iffy about whether this is sustainable or who he actually is. Fans are excited about Punk's return, but it's easy to see why some fans and wrestlers are skeptical about how long it will take before Punk has a meltdown. With any luck, that won't happen, and the wrestling world will enjoy entertaining drama in the ring rather than drama outside of it. Next up, did Punk take a shot at the Young Bucks? As some fans are wondering if Punk had some laughs at Matt Jackson's expense after Raw went off the air. Several fans posted a video of Punk doing what some saw as a victory lap in the ring. Ex-user Julian Weeks posted the video along with this observation. Wait, did he do the Young Bucks victory lap? As Ringside News noted, in case you forgot, Matt Jackson was spotted doing victory lap on the episode of AEW Collision right after CM Punk was fired. Do you think that this was a shot or just a mere coincidence? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, what happened with CM Punk after Raw ended? And that's not the only thing that happened after the cameras stopped running on Raw. A fan posted a video of showing CM Punk interacting with WWE Universe after Raw's cameras stopped rolling it. The straight-edge superstar could be seen signing autographs and posing for selfies. It looked like he was doing it for so long that even half the crowd had gone home already. That's pretty cool dedication from Punk. And this is just coming from us, but don't you just think that he's happier this time around? Next up, a former WWE star sentenced to 17 years imprisonment. It's bad news for former WWE superstar Sunny Tamara Sitch as a judge sentenced her to 17 years in prison. The 50-year-old former superstar was facing a maximum of 25 years in prison for charges related to the death of 75-year-old Julian Lasseter. The case has been going on since March 25, 2022, when Sitch was involved in an automobile accident that caused his death. This isn't the first time that Sitch was involved in a criminal proceeding, as TMZ Sports noted. The case was not the first time Sitch, who was elected in the WWE Hall of Fame in 2011, had been accused of drinking and driving. She'd previously been arrested at least 6 times prior for impaired driving. The defense team presented evidence arguing Sitch deserved leniency on a sentence. This evidence included testimony that she suffered from PTSD and other conditions that warranted a lighter sentence. However, the court could not grant this, instead sentencing her to 17 years in the Florida Department of Corrections, a 10-year sentence and a 7-year sentence to be served consecutively or one after the other. Now, Florida doesn't have parole, which means Sitch will have to serve all 17 years. Is this justice? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, MJF Legit Injured. MJF has reportedly suffered a labrum tear, which is raising concerns about whether he'll be able to defend the AEW World Heavyweight Championship against Samoa Joe at December's World's End pay-per-view. Labrum tears can be treated without surgery depending on the severity. MJF tweeted that he would defend the title at World's End, but the tweet was later deleted. If MJF is unable to wrestle, AEW has the option of declaring an interim champion, and we send our best to MJF for a fast and full recovery. And finally, is Triple H bringing back Sasha Banks? Last but not least, could Sasha Banks be the latest wrestler to return to WWE? Wrestle purist Ibu had this to say on X: Mercedes may go back to WWE. Ibu stressed that isn't an official report, but that it's a developing story. It's also important to remember that Mercedes is under contract to New Japan Pro Wrestling, although the length of the contract is unknown. The current belief is that Money will work at least one date for AEW when she returns from injury. Would you guys like to see Sasha Banks back in the WWE? Let us know in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.